Welcome back. You have to excuse me. I'm just getting over a cold, so if my voice seems a little nasally, that's what it is. Today we're going to be talking about a few different topics here pertaining to what this channel has been, covering for at least 5 years now. Now, in previous videos, I've mentioned the karma. I enjoy watching the karma happen. It's one of the best feelings in the world to see the naysayers, individuals that were trying to do something that were just crazy. I like to see the results of that. So we're going to be talking about the Team USA Hockey, with the World Drag Racing Association and their combined efforts now with the IHRA, and also some things that have happened in NASCAR. Now, if you are an athlete or a sports enthusiast whatsoever, you know what's been happening between the United States and Canada with the different tariffs, the Canadian fans booing the national anthem of the United States, so on and so forth. Last night's game, again, is that karma. Within the first 9 seconds of the game, 3 fights occurred with Canadians basically being, their foreheads being driven into the ice and ultimately coming out with the final score of 3-1 in favor of the United States. Excellent guys from the U.S. hockey team. Outstanding. They couldn't have come at a better time. Now, along with that, within the last 24 or basically 48 hours, today is Sunday, so you have to excuse me, this is Friday's news. The World Drag Racing Association and the International Hot Rod Association have combined efforts to support each other and the 110 different tracks that they sponsor across the United States. Outstanding. If you're part of this channel before, I spoke about this. Again, it's the karma, because there's other drag racing associations like the NHRA, who I sponsor. They have included, or they have invested millions of dollars into smaller tracks, things that were historically proven to actually succeed in their operations, and they turned around and stuck money into them to allow them to draw attention away from the larger cities that used to be. Multiple NHRA tracks across the United States are closing down because they were not filling the stands, because most of the attention was being driven to the smaller local communities. So what have they done? The NHRA has turned around and stuck more money into the smaller tracks. So that's a benefit to rural America, not necessarily to the big cities. Again, karma. Why should the drag racing family be supporting the cities within their commerce, their merchandising and so on and so forth, when the cities are trying to vote out and push everything out of the United States for manufacturing? So NHRA has basically moved their attention to the small local tracks. Excellent. Now, the combination of the World Drag Racing Association and the IHRA Drag Racing, there's one sanctioning drag racing body that has been left out to the wind. And if for any of you that have been part of this channel, that is karma to the fullest. Okay. When it comes to bracket racing, these two organizations have agreed to work together and to promote their drag racing for the bracket racers and these smaller guys that don't necessarily compete at the level of NHRA. Outstanding. Couldn't agree more. Karma's fitting. Now, along with that, for those of you in the drag racing or even racing interest, you've probably heard of Cletus McFarland. He's a YouTuber, and he's gotten to the point where he's very large. He has unlimited resources. He has purchased multiple different racetracks. He's been going to court over the land around the racetracks. He's in a process now of purchasing a circle track property that is close to his drag racing facility. If you follow along with any of the YouTube personalities that have made it fairly big, whether it be Derek from Vice Grip Garage or the TV personalities from Hot Rod Magazine, so on and so forth, in the last couple of weeks, you've seen them actually performing. And it was the division of a lot of the YouTube channels like Donut Media. It has filtered out the individuals that really didn't pertain to the content, and it has promoted the individuals with really good ideas. So out of the 30 or 40 individuals from Donut Media, you can tune into the ones now that are actually interesting to follow along with. The Hot Rod guys, you know, they still have millions of followers, but they haven't grown their follower base. It is exactly a reflection of the changing times. Now, if you haven't noticed, following along with NASCAR, Cletus McFarland was able to purchase way into competing with NASCAR. Okay. Now, one of the Wallace family members, not Rusty, a brother of his, I've had issues with him for a very long time in circle track racing. Normally over debate with tires and gooping the tires and so on and so forth. What the sanctioning bodies are starting to recognize as being cheating. Okay, the Wallace family has been known for doing that for years. But yet the family, just because they're involved with racing, all of them seem to have that, you know, they're held to that higher standard. They're giving them that status quo as being an elite family within racing, even though, other than Rusty, they suck. Okay. So now that NASCAR has basically allowed anybody to get into this, as long as they have, you know, some backing. Of course, as soon as McFarland got out there, all the other drivers kind of targeted him, saying, "No, we're gonna put this guy out here because he did not earn his way into NASCAR by working his way up through the ranks. He just purchased a way into competing with NASCAR." Okay, now that has occurred on multiple occasions throughout NASCAR's history. Montoya coming directly from Formula One. Danica Patrick, again, once they got in there, they didn't perform because they didn't work their way up through the ranks of NASCAR, whether it be local circle track or outlaw racing cars to ARTCO to the underlying NASCAR series, allowing them to work their way up to the ranks. They just purchased their way into it. Okay, so with the changing of times, it's opening the door for all kinds of different personalities. So out of that, I'm going to ask you guys a question. If a YouTube creator, going back to the World Drag Racing, IHRA Drag Racing combination, there was another sanctioning body that was trying to attract attention to the YouTubers, the YouTube creators. Okay, and it's backfired on them. But yet, individuals that have gone viral, you know, multi-million views and are collecting hundreds of thousands of dollars through their YouTube contributions, they're now able to buy their way into local sports. And as soon as they get there, they're being, you know, taken out, whatever you want to call it. Now, for anybody that followed along with Cletus McFarland, okay, he's got enough money, he can just throw it at everything. And if he destroys a nice vehicle or something like that, and it's there to draw the attention, and all people, like, you know, they're just drawn to that drama. There's other YouTube creators that do the exact same thing. They have unlimited amounts of money, and their entire channels are based off destruction. One of them is Whistling Diesel. Okay, again, I do not like this individual because he literally takes equipment, whether it be a Lamborghini or a very nice truck, and he purposely destroys it on camera to attract attention and to receive money. Are we going to have a future NASCAR that is made up of nothing but YouTubers? Okay, Cletus McFarland, Whistling Diesel, say Derek from Voice of Garage, Tony DeFaro from Uncle Tony's Garage. They already have Flanagan from the TV series Folks. What is it going to take before NASCAR's racers that have earned their way up through the ranks and to get into that they're replaced by individuals that are viral YouTubers? Okay, so again, kind of getting into this is I don't want to start this channel back up and start covering topics because it's just, this is what the future holds. If we continue with the whole YouTube algorithms and drawing, you know, hashtags and all that stuff, that's what's going to happen. NASCAR is in the situation where they're in damage control. they have lost so many fans, they have lost so many sponsors that they have to do everything they can to draw attention back to NASCAR. How many of you remember 2 years ago when um not Kenny Wallace, what was the, oh man, I can't remember. You guys remember, oh, it's a racial thing, my garage door rope was tied into a noose. Remember that? Okay. All of that's to draw attention and drama to get more viewers to tune into NASCAR. I would rather see the hardcore competitors that have proven their existence by competing and showing that they are championship level racers. Now, many of you that are NASCAR fans, you probably follow along with, oh man, I'm drawing a blank here. Again, cold is getting it to me. The two brothers. One is out now from concussions, but the other one's changed teams a couple of times, and he's a really hot-headed individual. Man, I can't think of his name now. Kurt Busch, or Kyle Busch. Okay, all that drama that was occurring around him drew people to either hate him or support him, even after he was leaving teams and he was being booted off, so on and so forth. NASCAR tried attempting to have 5-year champions within Jimmy Johnson win so that it pleased the fan base of NASCAR. It backfired on them. Okay, so some of these marketing ploys put on by the large sponsors, after a little while, once the fresh experience of it wears off, the fans catch on to it and they say enough is enough. Again, going back into other sporting events. Again, this goes back to karma, right? Who paid attention to the Super Bowl? The referees were being called out the entire season by the fans, basically saying, you can't lie to us. We're seeing it right on our own TV screens if you're watching the games, that Kansas City Chiefs didn't get as far as they did without having favoritism given to them by the refs. You get to the Super Bowl and boy, they back off and just let them play and become a full contact sport, and the true champions show their colors. Okay, so again, is it the drama that these professional leagues or these professional organizations are doing to draw attention from the masses of our country? Okay, I don't believe last night's Team USA was a direct reflection to create drama to get more spectators. They already had it, okay, and it worked out perfect. If that would be the case for every one of our sporting events, millions and millions of Americans would tune back into these different events, but they're not. They're literally boycotting things like NASCAR. These new generation cars are junk. The sponsors, you can go back to the, what was it, the Blue Collar Comedy series when, excuse me, the Alabama dude, he calls out and he's like, oh yeah, NASCAR is going to be, the sponsor is going to be replaced by women's hygiene products. Oh, we're going to have, this car sliding into second place and ramming it into the back, that I'm not going to steal his thunder, but you guys get it. Well, that is a joke. That is truly what some of these sporting events are doing to draw attention. Okay, it wasn't just in the NFL. It wasn't just about Kansas City and the refs. It's about whoever took the spotlight on their camera, sitting up in the, specialty booths and stuff like that with, what the hell's her name? Teenage Diddy Bopper. Okay, entertainment's in general, no matter if it's a sporting event or Hollywood, it's there to create drama and draw attention to itself. It's not necessarily about the competition and the level of competition. But I gotta say that NHL is really taking advantage of the situation between all the sports right now. World Drag Racing Association, IHRA Drag Racing, even though I sponsor NHRA, these fellas combining their efforts is there to take care of the individuals that can't be full-time drag racers, the ones that would like to just go to their local tracks and compete on a regular basis. Outstanding. It is the ones that are trying to draw attention through, like NASCAR, to the YouTube creators and so on and so forth. The fans are seeing through it. So again, it goes back to the karma. It's awesome. So 2025 so far has really started to wind up. It's excellent what is happening within our country, not only from our politics but also to the organized, sporting organizations. It's excellent. There's a lot to pay attention to. You can tell them, even though I'm under the weather, I'm very excited to what the future holds. Honestly, where I'm located, Major League Baseball is a huge sport that we follow here. Even the Milwaukee Brewers or the underdog leagues of the Northwoods College Collegiate Ball, high school teams, all of them are drawing a lot more attention from the locals. That's good for our economies. It's no more about the popular Hollywood elites or TV personalities that are driving things. It's the individuals getting out there and actually doing it where they can. So with that, locally, we have basically 6 weeks before any of our racing tracks open up whatsoever. The local NHRA track is normally the first one to open. They have approximately 6 weeks of test and tune days of the year. They do it every single day except for Sunday afternoons. So for any of you that have built the car over the winter time, you can go compete in those. This year, I was able to run the ice drags, and how do I put it? The car did what it was supposed to. Okay, it went straight, it went fast, but I couldn't stop. Okay, that was one issue that I did not really plan for. So only got 2 runs in, and the second one I ended up basically going further into the traps than what the conditions were. I was going faster than what the ice was designed for. And I ended up crunching the nose of the car. So some rebuilding time, which is hard to do because the nose of that car is not made anymore. It's not like I can just go out and replace it with a new molding. I have to go back and do some fiberglass work. So things in 2025 are really starting to wind up, and all the different projects, all the different channels that I follow on YouTube, I give the underdogs, the guys that are trying to build stuff in their driveways and go and compete, I give them a lot more credit than I do to the individuals that have deep pockets and aren't limited to what they're doing. And I definitely give more credit to the individuals that are trying to create something, and have some value behind it. Even though it might be a rusty hunk of junk, it holds more value than the guys can go take a Lamborghini and jump it off of a motocross jump. It's there to revive, not to destroy. So even though NASCAR is trying to draw attention to itself with Cletus McFarland, I still support Cletus and his racing track adventures. I don't believe he should be behind the wheel. Just like Whistling Diesel. Okay, he's got millions of viewers, but all he does is destroy stuff. He has unlimited amount of money. The last place I want to see him in is in NASCAR or any kind of competitive racing. I like to see guys that actually put some of the personality into the cars, into the build, and preserve their work, not just destroy it and send it to the crusher. So any of the channels on YouTube that is reviving, not only just finding something in a barn and seeing if it starts, guys are actually bringing it back to its original design and capitalize on that. That is what I still find interesting. No matter what channel it is, I'm still tuning into them. Obviously, I've got too much going on with my family to sit there and create videos anymore or doing any more instructional stuff. At a point, you just got to do it yourself. Just get out there and turn wrenches. Create your own personality. Put away the social media. Don't follow along with the Joneses and do everything exactly the same they do. Create your own project. Create your own personality that fits you. You're the only one that can regret later on what you did or didn't do. It doesn't matter what other people say about your project. Put it behind you. Okay? With that, thanks for tuning in. Sorry for putting up with my nostrily voice. But again, a lot of different things here in 2025. It's going to be an exciting year, and hopefully through karma, there are some that are left behind, getting fights in the first 9 minutes and have their heads driven into the ice, or while they're down, they get the underside of the boot. With that, have a good one.